Mm. I told you, you're gonna pick right up. I just like uploading smaller files better. They don't take as long. It's a lot of. Oh, that's a nice one. I'm sure this isn't worth anything, but I'll have to look it up. Mr. Bird, Larry Bird. Oh shit. Tops, Cal Ripken. The rookie card. I'll look at them. I know nothing about baseball cards. Hank Aaron. Chaos just ensued around me. Oh my god, my phone went off. I shaved today. I don't know if you noticed that or not. I've been thinking about going even thinner or lighter. I've also been thinking about cutting my hair again. This is going to be a style video. Gwen watches those and it makes me want to punch myself. Like, alright. Looks like Jim messaged me. Jim, I'm out here, man. Absolutely no. I love stuff. I love when stuff's going on. Things are happening and life is moving. It's not stagnant. Jim, who I was supposed to get together with tonight, is married to Karen. And they have a company. I've mentioned them before, Mistwood. I don't think it's just going to be called Mistwood Oils anymore because they do a lot of things. And Jim's been brewing his own beer. I tell you, I don't like beer. I am not a beer person. I didn't grow up, well, not like anybody grows up drinking beer. But I've tried a lot of beers. I'm not endorsing him or anything like, well, I am endorsing him. If he ever chose to sell his product, I'd probably buy it. Which is weird because, I mean, I like girly drinks and White Russians and I like some sweet table wines and stuff, but not a big fan of beer. It's just, I don't know how people like it. I really don't. However, he's got some secret ingredients that, I don't know if they're really secret, but I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want to tell you. Well, I do want to tell you. I'd love to share it with you, but it makes his beer stand out. Like, in a very Mistwood way, I would say. So I'm giving a review of the beer that I tried of his. I don't know the name of it. I'll get you the name of it. Actually, he's talking to me right now, so I'll find out what it was. I would give it a, for beer. Let me give it a beer rating. Because if I gave it an alcohol rating, I still wouldn't rate it as high as like a White Russian, just because that's what I drink. That's what I like. Vodka martini, is that 007's drink? If that's his drink, White Russian is mine. I guess it's the dude's. I can't really claim it. Claimed it. Anyway, I would give it easily a 9.4. Just to leave myself a little room to another, batch comes out or something. But, it's good. It's got a very unique flavor to it. It still has that beer taste, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it adds something to it to the extent that it makes me enjoy drinking it. So when the day comes that he decides to bottle it and sell it, I'll tell you all about it. Another Nolan Ryan card, man. Maybe these are just reprints. Cal Ripken, yeah, they gotta be. Oh, Dwight Evans, nice. Don Mattingly. Those Kmart cards I'm interested in. There's a Nolan Ryan, Mickey Mail, Brett Saberhagen, 92. Kolya Skrimsky. Oh, I remember when he retired. Pete Rose, Cal Ripken. Yeah, I gotta check into these. Maybe I'm sitting on a $10 fortune right here. Collectibles, man. They used to run my life. Collectibles, let me tell you. Comic books. Whew. It started in 91 or 92. I started collecting comic books. Right when Todd McFarlane started that new Spider-Man series. It was just before that because I had been. I went to Vince's Comics with my friend Dave Melanson, and I think that's what started it for me. I walked by McFarlane's art. I hadn't bought a comic since I was a little kid at that point. I was probably, 16, 17, something like that. And I remember being like, what? Literally, I stopped And no, that's a lie. That is part of the story, though. The first time I bought a comic was with Joe Hooper down at in Plymouth. We used to go down there every 4th of July. We'd go there really early in the morning. We'd get breakfast, hang out all day, go to the graveyard, go out on the jetty, get something to eat. We went to the Roadkill Cafe once, if I'm not mistaken. Or I went there with somebody. I don't know who it was. And watch the fireworks at night and then go home. But it's such a pain in the behind. If you don't get there early in the day, you might as well not go. Because you're going to be like 6 hours getting out of there if you get a bad parking spot. And there's a lot of bad ones. But I remember I was in a used bookstore and they had a few comics. And that's the first time I bought a comic again. Anyway, I get to the point where, you're always seeking that holy grail, whatever the collectible is. And of course, there'll always be a new holy grail. But in terms of comics, it was New Mutants 87 for me. The first appearance of Cable. I liked his character. I had a t-shirt that said, what was it? The kind of guy that does whatever it takes to get the job done. Or I don't know. I'm mixing it up with that Wolverine quote. Did you see the musical? Hugh Jackman singing Wolverine, the musical. I saw a clip on that on YouTube today. Cards. Wow. Whew. I got lost there. Jeez Louise. Comics, collectibles. I have no idea. Sorry about that. So, Walking Dead was pretty good last night. That scene in the middle where Rick takes the turn from being a farmer to being whatever he has to be at the time. That was kind of a cool scene. There I go mumbling again. I got a mumbling. Punched him, ate his shoe. It's funny to end something like that. And then I ate his shoe. Or just something ridiculous. I don't know. Okay. I don't want to hit anything too crazy tonight. 7 minutes. I could put another 8 minutes into this conversation with one of these topics easily. So many good ones. You know what I want to talk about? Alright. This is a nice in-between one for me, at least. Because I'm not pro or con on this issue, really. Well, I'm opinionated on it, but not as extreme as I am with some issues. I read something somewhere once comparing owning a gun to owning a car. And that was really an eye-opening moment for me. Like, I didn't really care about guns before. That never affected my life personally. I've never owned them. I mean, I've fired a shotgun, I think, with my cousin Ron, who he's into guns. I don't know how many he owns, or if he owns any, to be honest. But I remember this was never a big issue for me until somebody compared it to owning a car. And it made sense to me at that point. Like, okay, for a car, you have to have a license. You have to have insurance for that car. You have to be able to take a test to get the license. And you have to renew your license X amount of times. Like, I mean, not that you have to take a test or anything, but I almost think you should. And I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that's what you should do, only more extreme for a gun. I mean, everyone has a car. A car can kill just as easily as a gun can kill. This is that double-sided argument where the right side of things versus the left side of things on the gun control issue, both of them make good points. Both sides make good points. Like, I understand the right to bear arms. I also know that that's meant in the sense of a regalia, not a regalia, I can't remember the term that the Constitution uses right now. It's just the Constitution. I mean, you don't really need to know those important words. Just the thus and ands. Form a militia. It's not, I don't believe, if I've read this correctly, the Constitution that is, guns don't give you the right to do anything other than use it to form a militia, and I'd have to look up the second one, which is a little bit more grounded in today's standards. But nonetheless, okay, you want to own guns? Fine. I don't believe in guns. I don't believe in hunting unless you're hunting to survive. Like, that's how you get your meat. I don't believe in hunting for sports. And if no one had guns, then, well, if no one had guns, this world would be a much better place. However, if only, I don't know, the police had guns, I'd be okay with that. Like, I understand that those that protect us have to be a step above what we are. I do. Like, you know, what's going to stop, let's say, now you could take this from either side of the argument, but let's just say you get a group of hardcore Tea Partiers that have a good stockpile of guns. You know what I mean? Like, and they decide one night after drinking, we're going to march on Washington or something. You know what I mean? Like I do think the people that defend us have to be able to defend us with something more powerful than the general public has. I mean, I understand the complications with that and the rights behind it and the fear and the oppression that it could lead to, and I understand all that. I really understand the other arguments. However, I don't agree with them. I just don't. I mean, where I stand, we just shouldn't have guns. I mean, it just leads to so many other arguments too, like, well, what if somebody breaks into your house? Shouldn't you have the right to defend yourself? Yes, you should. But I don't know. I just don't know on that. Like, I think, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, well, then do this. Because I don't know. I really don't know. Like, in that case, I agree. Like, if someone broke into my house tonight while my kids are sleeping and tried to steal, you know, I wouldn't care if they were just stealing. I really wouldn't, because I would just report it to police and I'd let it play out like that. There's no sense in risking your life, but there's a lot of sick and twisted individuals out there. So what do you do? I mean, I guess you can get an alarm system for your house. I mean, that seems pretty effective. I guess that would be better than buying a gun, in my opinion. So there we go. I just came up with the answer. The answer is that. I'm good at answers. You know who else is good at answers? Bret Michaels. I think there's a Grateful Dead card in here somewhere, too. I should send that to my cousin Ron. So, I mean, that's the whole thing with guns. You know, guns versus cars. Why do you have to go through all these processes just to drive a car? Like, answer that. Like, really, if you are pro-gun and, like, wide open pro-gun, like, I don't need a license, I shouldn't have to have a background check, blah, 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 blah. Like, if that is true, if that's how you feel, then ask yourself, shouldn't it be the same way, at least for cars? Like, why do I need to get a license to prove that I can drive a car? Why should you own a gun if you don't know how to use it? You should have to take classes and learn how to use that gun. You should have to pass a test. And until you pass that test, I don't think you should be able to own a gun. I'm just being honest, man. That's how I feel. I don't think I should be able to walk in, which I could here in Virginia, to a gun store, buy a gun. They do a background check here, which is fine. And within, it probably doesn't take nowadays more than 20 minutes. All they do is basically run your records and it's right back to you. But let's say it took 2 or 3 days. I mean, like, that's not a long time to wait for somebody who doesn't know how to use a gun to get a gun. Like, I could get a gun. I don't know anything about guns. Like, if I could go, but I could go buy one right now and have it within anywhere from, half hour to 3 days. I could buy the bullets to that gun. You know what I could do with that gun? Anything I wanted to. I, as a citizen, have now just gone in and within, let's say 2 days, 2.5 days, got a gun, bought the bullets. No one asked me anything about, do you know how to fire it? Do you want to take classes? Da, 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 da. I can walk out of that store. I can then take that gun and load it. I can now drive anywhere that's got minimum security, basically, and go to town. I would never do that. I am a sane individual. But anyone here can do that. Anyone. Yeah, they do the background check, but what does that prove? Like, I have not a record, but I've been arrested for trespassing when I was 19. So, like, not that there's any correlation between trespassing and going in and shooting people, but what I'm saying is, like, it's not hard. And I just don't think every guy that has seen a Batman movie or something needs to go out and buy a gun. And I see that happen a lot. Like people showing off their guns and stuff. Like, it's not something to show off. It's not like, check out this new model gun. You know, it's like it's just not meant to be that. I don't think. And I hate the people that show off their gun collection. It's like, proud of you. Do you want a cookie or a medal? Like, I don't care. Like, that shouldn't be the purpose of owning a gun. If you really think you need one to defend your house, even if you have a security system, fine. You know, that's fine with me. Like, I have no problem with that. But learn to use it. Like, we can't just let people buy guns because they want guns to defend their house. They're going to end up... Look at the statistics. This isn't a liberally weighed statistic. This is a legitimate statistic. Look at the amount of damage that happens every year from guns. People dying, kids shooting people shooting kids. You know, in a household that has a gun that has no respect, people die, and kids die, and it doesn't help you defend your family, it helps you hurt your family. And that's statistically just a fact. Like, I'm sorry, but it is. Look it up. Like, don't take my word for it. Literally, just go look it up. If one child dies per year because of somebody who couldn't own a gun properly and take care of it and respect it and learn how to use it and lock it up, or at least keep it somewhere that their child can't get to, then that's one too many kids, in my opinion. Like, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to go, oh, yeah, you're liberal, but abortion's okay. Go watch my other video about abortion. The 1 month, 1 term okay is what I stand for. The whole concept of, like, right to life versus death penalty versus... It's so twisted. Like, such a backwards way of thinking. Like, I'm not for the death penalty. I'm not. However, like, on a personal note, if something ever happened to my family and that person, I could get my hands on them, that Christian morality is going right out the window. I don't care. Like, that's a question. That's a fun question to pose yourself. Like, how far is too far? What would you be willing to do to, just to do? Like, and I have to wonder, like, what it would take to make me go crazy. Maybe I've already gone crazy. I'm going to get off the subject on guns because it's clearly leading down a dark path that I don't want to be a part of right now. I want to laugh and giggle. And I was having a good time when I was just talking about Bret Michaels. Let me read to you from the good card of Bret Michaels. Here's his specialty. Lead vocals and guitar. You want to know his birthday? You just missed it. March 15th. Interest. Motorcycles and horseback riding. I really wish it said long walks on the beach just so I could be like, really? But it doesn't. Profile. These things are always funny. Remember when you were a kid and, like, alright, first for me, I remember baseball cards and sports cards. Even though I wasn't hugely into sports, my family, or largely into sports, my family, well, not all my family, but my uncle, my grandmother, were really big Celtics fans, Red Sox fans, so on and so forth. But, eventually, like, there came a time, especially during the 80s, when, rock was getting big in the 80s. You know what I mean? Hang on, then Carol sent me a message, a video, a picture of some sort. Bret Michaels, oh yes, okay. Come on, load. He's become one of rock's most familiar faces as he led Poison up the charts to success. At first, his flowing blonde looks, sexy stage moves, and pouting lips concealed his diverse musical talents. But there's not a question mark there. But as Poison's albums proceeded to sell millions of copies, the Pittsburgh native got his due credits, especially on the band's latest hit, Flesh and Blood. He cites Kiss and Van Halen as his primary influences. So now you know a little bit more about Bret Michaels. And I'm sure when you woke up this morning, you're like, there's one thing I would like to learn by the end of the day, it's more about Bret Michaels. The search for the Save-Opotamus, the Muffin Muncher, Serendipity, Jake O'Shaughnessy, Morgan and Me, Flutterby, Knitterpitter, Leo the Lop, Tail 2, Leo the Lop, Tail 3, Snuffles, and wow, man. I think this is from the inside of a book that she's reading the boys right now. Cartouche. I will reply to this with the Muffin Muncher. I think that's the funniest out of those titles. Let's face it. I'm not going to go there, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about, Pittsburgh. No, where was he from? Was it Pittsburgh? Yes, yeah. I kind of want to drive up to Philly just to get a Philly cheesesteak, even though I don't eat meat. I'm not going to lie to you. I am on the fence lately. I talked about it previously, and every time I go to the grocery store, I find myself eating like the same 3 or 4 meals, and I know this isn't good for me. And I buy fake meat patties, and I look at the ingredients, and they just go on forever. And I think, as much as I hate to say this, like, it's probably way healthier to eat bad meat than it is to eat good Morningstar patties. Like, there's so many like words I can't pronounce on there that clearly there's a problem. Holy mackerel, 20 minutes. 21 minutes, okay. Yeah, let me cut this off here, and I'm going to pick it right back up again. Actually, I'm going to take about a 45-second intermission. You don't know that because you might watch one video one day and one the next day. Or is there anybody out there? Hello? Is this thing on? Alright, so hang around, and if I collapse and never make it back here, keep making people smile all day tomorrow, next week, next year, next month, and let's make this world a happy place together. Oh, that's nice. I like that. I'm going to go with that. Let's make this. I got to write that down. Be right back.